What is the strangest thing a partner has said or done during sex that instantly killed the mood? I've said it before, but she asked how do you last so long? Do you think of your grandma? While I was inside of her. No, but now I am. We are done here. Same. I Walder came instantly. Got. The partner was me. Giving a hand job to my boyfriend, now husband. Things were hot and heavy. He was getting close and my brain was trying to think of sexy things to say, and before I could stop myself I said yeah. Gotta get all the milk out. Needless to say, hard to continue giving a guy a hand job while he's laughing his ass off and saying what the duck did you just say? I sincerely hope now that anytime either of you are using the last of the milk, that epic sentence is uttered. If my husband ever does this, I'm going to know he saw your reply and I'm going to blame you. I give great head. I had older brothers. Apostrophe. I had a buddy in high school whose sister walked in the bathroom as he was getting out of the shower. She told a friend of hers, and it later got back to him, you should hook up with my brother. He's got a big dick. Trust me, I know all kinds of bad rumors started as a result. Thankfully for them it didn't last. But did she? Without a trace of irony in his voice, keep making the mac and cheese sound bro what? That's what good pussy sounds like. Wap. I got a mid-size sedan for someone's little ass garage. First, let's pray. You gotta pray before a Bible discussion and study meeting. BDSM. Reminds me of a girl I used to date called Grace. She would always be like say my name bitch before I ate her pussy. This was the first time we were having sex. So after some kissing and foreplay I told him I had to go pee real quick. I went and sat on the toilet. A few seconds later he comes in, sticks his hand in the toilet midstream, cups some of my pee and drinks it. Then went on to ask me if I could pee on him. I'd never been so confused in my life. We had not discussed if this was okay or a thing I'm into. I'm not kinky at all, and this shook me. So what was your response? Or were you too shocked to respond? I was too shocked, and he could see it on my face. He was a nice guy and not pushy. I got dressed and went home. We kinda broke up after that. That my pecker tasted like a glazed donut. Thanks haha edit. I'm not diabetic, nor do I have any symptoms of it haha. Some background information. This was years ago. I was picking her up from work and she gave me roadhead blowjob while driving. Her friend decided to call her about something IDK. So she proceeded to tell her friend what she was doing, and it took me by surprise that she went full frontal about sharing this information to her friend and I guess to rub it to her friend's face, and made the comment that my pecker tasted like a glazed donut. I like my privacy, although I don't mind the compliment. It was the fact that she shared our privacy with her friend. That's pretty much the top of the list of things a pecker can taste like. Or she buys ducking awful donuts. Why haven't you finished yet? Am I not pretty enough accompanied by crying? I'm by no means bragging. This was not hours into a marathon sex session to put pornsters to shame. We are talking in the first 5 minutes. It was really disturbing and off-putting. We did not last long. By no means bragging. 5 minutes. Seems legit. Started laughing. Turns out she laughed when she was really aroused. I got used to it. We dated. And now I jack off to stand-up comedy and 90s sitcoms. Is that the horse from Horsin' Around? Back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show. An Elmer Fudd impression. We were home during the day and decided to get frisky. Noticed the window was open. So said we had to be quiet. To which my husband replied be view we quiet. I'm hunting warbits. Made me laugh, but killed the mood. How can a quick one-off funny line like that destroy an entire mood? Me and my wife crack jokes all the time and it never interferes with the mood. Humor during sex really bugs some people. Totally wounds the mood. A girl I had met at a party pulled down her panties to reveal a Shrek tattoo above her pubes. It was his head and shoulders waving high like he just emerged from her swamp so to speak. She said, does that turn you on? It's sexy right? I feel bad still, but I laughed out loud and she stormed off. If the tattoo was putting you off, you should told her to bend over so you could do her from behind. I see what you did there. We were in doggy style and I reached back to massage his balls. He had sharted and I got shit all over my hands. Wait, as in head sharted already and was just gonna finish and hope you never found out. He plays to win, baby. Calling me daddy like, girl, I have a daughter and she calls me daddy, so that's her insta softy lol. On the reverse of this, when guys want me to call them daddy, no. I have a friend who used to hook up with a guy who insisted she called him daddy. She didn't want to, but he kept asking. So she decided to call him dad instead. He immediately stopped asking. 24F. Amation was seeing this white dude, 41 meters. One time while we were out, a creepy guy tried to hit on me by calling me a tasty spring roll. So after the incident, it became an inside joke. Fast forward a few months and we were having sex, and he called me a tasty spring roll while he was inside of me. All I could think about was the creepy old dude who originally called me that. It made me reevaluate my life once I realized a man almost 20 years older than me was ducking me and calling me a tasty spring roll. It killed the mood in the relationship. That's a relationship and a mood that needed to die. During intense foreplay, she answered the phone and talked for about half an hour. Mood was killed, embalmed, and buried. I feel you. My ex and I were at foreplay and suddenly his cell phone started ringing. Instead of ignoring it, he answers the phone because it was his dad and could be an emergency. Fair enough for the emergency possibility, but it wasn't one. Then he talked to his dad on the phone for 20 minutes about things which could have waited and was angry that I wasn't in the mood anymore afterwards. I was riding cowgirl and 2 seconds from body shaking orgasm when he full on practically wound up his arm and slapped the duck out of my face. We'd never talked about slapping being okay. I ducking hate being slapped. In fact, I was absolutely livid. That's the cue to swing back. You're on top. You have the upper hand here. Yeah, baby, ride me like a horse with the dumbest sexy look on his face I've ever seen. Nope. You just didn't like him. This isn't really what you're looking for. But my then wife and I were starting to get hot and heavy one night and she said, hoping to get lucky tonight. Are we? And in a flash, I realized what had been wrong with our sex life the whole time we'd been married. I was always the one getting lucky. The dynamics of our sex had never out her in the position of getting lucky. I had never been able to articulate it. But that was it. Killed the mood for me. Killed it. Almost permanently. There was lots else wrong with our marriage, and I left her a few years later. But I just remember with such clarity the feeling of wanting sex, and feeling intimate, and connected and horny just vanishing into vague repulsion like a splash of ice cold water. Just getting out of the same kind of situation. I found someone else who actually wants me as much as I want them. It's amazing. My husband had the same thing. He'd always talk about how sex was used like money in his relationship, so he only had it when she wanted to, and it was weird. In fact, there was a day when we were first dating that he had to get up early for a manual labor job and I had to go home, so I tucked him into bed and told him I'm gonna blow him so he sleeps better. He legit was like, okay, awesome, I might not come though, and I said, hey, either way I love your cock in my mouth. Of course he did come and later married me for my vigorous love of him and my insatiable love of sucking his dick. Lol. You like that, yeah, ducking retard? Are you ducking? Sorry, I too choose this guy's dead wife. I've gotten used to it now. But my girlfriend of 4 years will just bring up the most random shit in the middle of sex. Doing it before we eat breakfast. Asks what we are gonna eat mid-thrust. Doing it in the evening. OMG, wanna hear a funny story from work? And basically any other random thing you can think of. Just a thought. Could it be that she gets bored of the sex and her mind starts to drift? If so, you could try mixing it up and adding new things for her to enjoy it more. I've honestly heard good things about using vibrators during sex. Yeah, I get bored during sex and my mind will wander to the list of chores and stuff that needs done. That's probably what's happening with his GF. but I don't think I've ever verbalized my thoughts during sex. Immediately after, yes. Also, it's the way my brain is wired I think, because I've had mind-blowing sex, and then right after the orgasm. It's like HMM. Did I remember to spot treat that wine stain before I wash that skirt? If it's mess sex, it's just a constant litany of things like the grocery list or what will be a good veg to have with dinner. We were both naked and I was giving her a back massage. She farted and I felt the air pierce my cheeks and go directly up my butt. I'm having trouble visualizing a massage technique that would allow for anus to anus gaseous transmission. Is anus to anus gaseous transmission too long for a band name? She called me Ken. Ken was her dad's name. Yikes on so many levels. Like, it's bad enough if she cries out dad, but saying the actual name instead of title? That's just bizarre. Yup, there was a lot going on there, from her dad walking out on her and the mother when she was a very young kid to having some sort of a complex. According to her, said my vagina was so tight, it's like a vice grip. Total mood killer for me. Haha, this is hilarious. Like, dude was so into the moment that he thought, vagina tight, vice grip tight, vice grip good, vagina good. Yeah, it was super bizarre for me. At the time I didn't even know how to react, so I just ignored it. Now I look back and laugh at it. Was balls deep, missionary position, on the Vinegar stroke, and she ripped an earth-shattering fart that nearly blew my balls up my asshole. Not even kidding, this fart made Hiroshima look like a backfiring car. The worst part is I was past the point of no return and came at the same time. Weirdest nut ever. I have many questions. First, what the duck is a Vinegar stroke? The face made by a man as he approaches climax resembles as if that man had just drank a shot of Vinegar. I'm writing a book about vaccines. Well, really it's a book about autism, apostrophe. How does this come up during sex? How? It was a break between scenes. He offered me a copy to take home as well, and I was just like, no. God no. No orgasm for you. Much as I love Aunt Ida's speech in Female Trouble. If they're smart they're queer. If they're stupid they're straight did not apply here. Said verbatim in a little girl voice, OHH daddy, you're going to make me come. Will you please come for me daddy? I stopped mid thrust. There was no continuing after that. OC was on that porno shit. She wanted the blinds open in our apartment during sex. Pretty much right after she mentioned she could see the bridge where an ex killed himself. I think Johnny just snapped me. Let me check my phone. Fucking hell. She called me dad, not daddy. Dad. Her dad passed away when she was a kid. Can we stop here? I gotta go take a shit. My partner and I were long distance for a while and we would fall asleep on the phone most nights. One night, he was masturbating while we were on the phone, and I had no idea he was carrying conversation like normal. It never bothered me that he did this BTW. I was just confused and impressed by his multitasking capabilities, lol. We were quiet for a moment, but apparently exactly right when he came. I said the words, do you like kombucha? Now anytime kombucha comes up around us, we share an awkward glance and an under the breath giggle. Masturbating over video chat during long distance is actually a pretty good way to keep some intimacy alive. In my experience, me and my girlfriend did this during the first month or so of quarantine before we started seeing each other again. I completely agree. We did that a lot too before moving in together. That's part of why it caught me off guard. Like, you could have told me that's what you were doing instead of letting me bring up fermented juice during climax. Hahaha. We had the TV going in the background. Suddenly Pokemon comes on. Dude stops and just starts singing the theme song. What a legend. She asked me to cut her. I declined. Like, actually make her bleed, cut her? That's terrifying. I've always been afraid of those types of situations. Because what if they accuse you of raping them after asking for something like that? They'd have clear proof with their injuries. You wouldn't stand a chance in court. I think the only way that I could be into that is if we had both signed a terms and conditions agreement while a lawyer was present. But that's getting into 50 Shades territory, and I don't have that much money. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.